What's going on, YouTube? My name is AR Martin, AR Martin 812, and I just wanted to, uh, share what I'm going through. This is kind of therapeutic for me because I'm kind of going through some health issues right now, and it's causing me some depression sometimes. Not every day. I'm not experiencing depression every day, but there are some things that are happening, there are some days that are better than others, and some days that are worse than others. So I decided that I would just talk this out because I'm not going to see anybody at this particular moment. Because I don't necessarily feel I need to go see anybody, but I just need to get some things off my chest. So that's what this video is for. It's not going to be too long, but there'll probably be multiple videos. As you can see, I'm playing Mass Effect, so I'm just going to talk while I'm playing Mass Effect. But yeah, and hopefully this will, help me feel better, and those that view it, maybe you're going through something similar, or maybe you're going through the same thing I'm going through, and hopefully it helps you, lets you know that you're not going through what I'm going through. You're not alone. That there are other people out there going through the struggles that you may be going through as well. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and get started. Excuse me. Well, like I said, my name is AR Martin, and this all began in 2020, or I should say 2019. Like everybody, 2020, it was pretty bad for me, just like it was for everybody else. I'm not saying that I had it any worse than anyone else, but I definitely had a rough 2020. Excuse me. And really it started for me in 2019. So in 2019, this all began probably, I would say, end of October, beginning of November. I had to go to the hospital. And what happened was one night I was in bed, and I went to go lay down, of course, I went to go to sleep, so I was in bed. And when I laid down, I laid on my back. I don't normally sleep on my back, but I laid on my back, and I felt a weight on my chest. It was really heavy, very uncomfortable. So I didn't really know what was going on. So I struggled to go to sleep that night. Excuse me. So I turned on my side, and I'm normally a side sleeper, and I was able to get to sleep, but I could feel fluid in my chest, and it made it really difficult to get to sleep, even though I was able to go to sleep. So, like I stated, I was able to get to sleep, and I woke up the next morning, and I didn't feel quite right. There was something wrong, and I didn't fully know what it was. So I went to work, and at the time I was working at Amazon in their warehouse. So I get to work, and as soon as I get to work, I'm walking into the building, and I feel really tired, and I feel really off. So instead of going straight to after the morning meeting and everything, I go to the nurse's office, if you want to call it that, but they weren't nurses; they're more like EMTs, if anything. Excuse me. Went in there and they took my blood pressure. And now I am someone who does have high blood pressure, but it was somewhat controlled. with the medicine, but it wasn't controlled like it should be, like it should have been. So I go to get my blood pressure taken in the office, and the blood pressure is sky high. It's like 200 over 120 or something like that, something really high. So they call an ambulance for me. The ambulance comes, and I'm thinking that I'm possibly having a heart attack. So I'm praying that it's not a heart attack. But I didn't have, I wasn't feeling chest pain or anything of that nature. Um, so, the ambulance comes. They give me this. I forgot what the medicine was called, but it was like nitrous or not. And I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, but it was something along those lines. And they put me in the ambulance, and they take me to the hospital. Get to the hospital. They run their tests. They do chest X-rays. So I'm in the hospital for a few hours, which is which anytime is to be expected. So I'm in the hospital, and they come back and they say, hey, you're not having a heart attack, and you're just having excuse me, you have pneumonia. So that was a relief, because like I said, I thought I was having a heart attack, but pneumonia isn't a good thing. It's not good. But they give me some antibiotics and they send me on my way. So like I said, that was right at the tail end of 2019, and that's where this story begins. Excuse me. So fast forward to 2020, and it's around March of 2020, and the same thing happens again. I'm in bed, and I go to lay down, and I feel this weight on my chest when I'm laying on my back. So it's the weight. It's hard to breathe. Uh, so I wake up that night, and let me back up. I'm sorry. By this time, I've started a new job. Um, so I'm in the new job, and this is happening. So I go to the hospital that night, and the doctors, they keep me. They run more tests. I let them know that this is what's happened. It happened back in November 2019. So I'm thinking that, it's once again it's pneumonia again. So, like I said, they run more tests, and this time the doctor comes back and tells me, hey, your kidneys are not functioning as well as they should be. So I'm like, well, what does that mean? And he tells me that the reason I'm feeling that fluid in my chest is because there's fluid in my body, and my kidneys are not getting rid of that fluid. And that's what's causing me to have that fluid backed up in me. And he tells me that, my kidney function is at that particular time, the kidney function was at maybe 18, I think 18 to 20%. So and he told me, in the near future, you're probably going to need dialysis, and even more, you're probably going to need to have a kidney transplant. So that was a lot to take in, because you don't expect to hear information like that. I spoke to, I am a diabetic. I found out that I was a diabetic in 2007. So on top of being a diabetic, I find out all those years later that now I'm going through, my kidneys are failing. So, after I get that news, I pretty much break down, you know, because I mean, it's, as you can imagine, I'm sure that's news that's hard to take. Um, excuse me. So I call my mother, and I let her know what all is going on. And she doesn't believe. She thinks that, it's possibly the medicine that I'm taking for my blood pressure that's causing the bad reading for my kidneys. And, that gave me a little hope. But, at the end of the day, what the doctor told me was correct. My kidneys were functioning at 20%. And, it was getting worse. So, I asked my doctor, was there anything I could do to, excuse me, to, regain the kidney function? Could I exercise? Could I eat better? And of course he said, that would help, but, well, he didn't say it would help. He said it was a possibility, but more than likely I would not be able to regain the function of my kidneys. So, you know, I still tried. I went and, I started exercising more than what I was. I got up to where I could run, 2 miles. I'm not the most in shape person in the world, but, I did get some exercise in after the fact. After finding all of that out, hoping that I could regain, some function, regain the function of my kidney. And for a while, it was working. I got my kidney function up to, I think it was maybe 22 or 23% functioning again. But that was the best that it got. And like I said, that was March. So fast forward, a month or so, I'm back in the hospital, and for this time, it's not for the fluid in my chest, even though all this time that's going on, fluid is still backing up in my system, but I did receive some medicine that kind of helped get rid of that fluid. So going a few months forward, I start to feel extremely tired, more so than I'd ever felt before. At the time I didn't know why I was becoming so tired, but I mean, I can't even begin to explain how tired I felt. I had never felt that way before. And I mean, like I said, I've worked out, I've worked out, I've done workouts before. So it wasn't anything that I wasn't used to. So I knew what being tired felt like. And this was something that I had never experienced before. I like I stated, I can't begin to explain to you how tired I was. So, so I go to the doctor, and I explain, I'm like, hey, I'm really exhausted, and I don't know what's going on. So I go to the emergency room once again. I get some blood work and I think this was on a Friday. My doctor calls me Saturday evening and tells me, hey, you need to get to the hospital because you are very anemic right now. And what they told me, or what I was informed, was the average male when they get their readings done for their hemoglobin or their iron that's in their system, it's at like 14. The number is 14, and that's the average of what an average male should be at. Well, when they checked my blood, I was at like a 6.5, and that explained why I was so tired. And when I say I was tired, like just take it like this: if you have to go to the bathroom, you have to go pee, for example. It was to the point where I was too
Looks like
tired
the
to
geth is
pee.
settling in nicely.
I was too tired. I mean, there were times where I was like, hey, I'm just going to sit here and hold it as long as I possibly could because I was so tired and couldn't get up to go
Damn
to the
it!
bathroom. So that's
I'm so sorry.
that's where it had
I thought
gotten
you were
with
Geth,
my
or one of
kidney.
those Baron.
I was anemic now. That explained why I was so
You're
tired.
safe now. But why were you
So
here in the first place?
they had me go to
It's
the
my own
emergency
fault.
room once again
Everyone else was running, and
for a
I
blood
stayed with backup
transfusion.
data. Next thing I
Um,
knew, the Geth
at
ship
this
latched on,
point,
and the power went out.
I
I was trapped.
excuse me.
I tried to get out, but the way was
I called
blocked.
my mother. I
We'll get
told
you out
her
as soon as we
what
find
was
out what the
going
Geth are
on,
after.
and I
It's
asked
not the
her
Geth, it's the
to
energy
come
field
up.
they put up. They don't want
Uh,
anyone else getting access to
because
the...
I live alone. I don't have. I'm not married. I don't really have a girlfriend. I have people that I see here and there, but so essentially,
I'm here for the Geth.
I'm a
It's
bachelor.
very important I find out what they're after.
So I asked my mom to
I don't
come
know
up,
for certain, but
just
there's
because
something left at
I've been
Thorn.
to the hospital now
What's at
twice,
Thorn?
within the year,
It's an indigenous life form.
and
Exogeny was
it was just becoming too much. It was
What else can
becoming
you
too
tell me?
much for
Do you
me.
know where I can find this
So
thorium?
my mom flew. Well,
I
she drove up,
I
and
might
then
be
she
able
drove
to,
from
but not with those
Alabama.
Geth
So
crawling around everywhere.
it was about a 13-hour drive
We
for
need
her.
to
So
get
she
out of here,
wasn't there
past
when
that
I
field.
got the transfusion, but she got there while I was still in the hospital. And that's when
Do you know how we can shut it down?
No, not
they
exactly.
they
But I think the
explained to my
Geth ship is
mother
powering it.
what was going on with
I've
me.
noticed the Geth laying power
My
cables
father also
everywhere.
came up,
You can follow those
uh,
cables, but there's Geth all over the
and they
place.
explained to him what all was going on. And it hit us all. It hit me again, and it hit my mother and my father really hard. To hear their son is going through kidney failure. And
Tell me about
it's.
yourself.
I'm
I
just a
mean,
research assistant for Exogeny.
it's
I
really
came here with my
hard
mother.
You
to
stay
take
put.
that
I'll go
information.
open some doors.
Uh,
Oh, here, take my ID.
because
This should get you past any
kidney
locked
failure
doors.
can kill you.
Good luck with that fever.
Uh, it's a terrible feeling to know that you're that you can die. And that's essentially what happens. I mean, because we all live life. For the most part, I'm sure a lot of you do the same. You live life and you don't even think about passing. And when I found that information out, it really hit hard because you know life is finite, and we don't think of it that way. We don't, we just go out and we enjoy life. We enjoy life to the fullest. At least some of us do, I'm sure. But when you're smacked with reality that life can end, it is really hard. It's really hard to take. So you know,
Stupid machine.
I'm
Accessing
going through
protocols.
this kidney failure
No,
right
I
now,
don't want to review protocol.
and it's really hard. 2020 was probably the worst year of my life because before I was able to get on dialysis, it my it, the kidneys being as bad as they are, it was just really it got really bad. I was in and out of the hospital in 2020 more than I had ever been in the hospital. I think before 2020, I may have been in the hospital one or two times, and I'm 40 years old now. Oh, And like I said, in 2020, I was in and out of the hospital, just too many times to count. And it was extended stays. I would go, and I would be in the hospital for weeks. Well, let me not say weeks, but I would be in the hospital for like a week each time I went. And like I said, I started a new job right at the beginning of 2020. So I was calling off, I was, just missing time at work, and it just, I know it looked really bad, but there was nothing I could do because I could not function. Like my mom, when she came up, she ended up staying the summer with me. She got here, I think she got here in June, and she didn't end up leaving until like October because I was just so sick, and I could not function. If I walked to my car from my apartment, it would be like I ran, 5 miles sprinting. I was so out of breath, and then just going to the store, I couldn't walk while I was in the store. My mom, she would have to, there was one time we were in the store, and I had to get a wheelchair because I couldn't walk. Just walking from the parking lot to the store, I was so out of breath, and it was like I was going to pass out if I didn't sit down. So, just going through that all summer, and I don't know if whoever's listening, if you know anybody who's gone through or is going through kidney failure, I'm sure you've seen people with what they call cankles, and that's what I'm going through right now, where my body can't expel the fluid, so the swelling, of course, gravity pulls it down to your feet. So my ankles are swollen, my feet are swollen, and I can't even wear shoes right now. I can't even wear regular shoes. I have to wear. My mother had to buy me I don't want to call them special shoes, but they're Skechers. That they stretch, because those are the only shoes I can wear now because my feet swell so bad. So yeah, so I'm going through that. It's just 2020 was just really hard. And yeah, it was just really hard. And I mean, it got so bad while I was waiting, because I had to have surgery to put a catheter in my stomach so that I could do dialysis. Yeah. So waiting for that surgery, it just got so bad, And like I said, I don't know if there's anybody that's listening to this. If you've gone through what I've gone through, or if you're going through what I've gone through, I mean, it does get better. It does, because I am doing dialysis right now, and that has really helped.
I am unable to comply. Please contact the supervisor.
The swelling in my lower portion, from my knees down, it has gotten better. It's not nearly as bad as it was.
If there is nothing else, please step aside.
My nurse, I have a home nurse now. And she's been able to, get the swelling to go down on my legs and ankles. But it's still there. There's still some that's there. It's just not nearly as bad as it was. Of course, which is a very good thing. You know, I'm still struggling with keeping my iron levels up, but they have been able to get my iron my iron levels up to where it's okay. You know, I have energy. I can walk around. You know, I can function now.
I think we're good, Shepard.
Exogeny Corporation reminds all staff that the
this year I've been going to the zoo to try to walk around and build some of my stamina back up because my stamina is, you know,
how do you know I'm Lisbeth?
The whole
identifies you as Elizabeth
kidney thing,
Is there
it
something
really
you require, Dr.
took a
Bain?
toll on my health. You know, like I said, I was never the most
Information was the
in
last
shape
user
person,
attempting to access.
but I
Fetching
wasn't,
data. The
you know,
previous
I
user
wasn't
was
as
attempting to
bad
access
as I
details on
was
the
last
study of
year.
subject species
I was
37,
never that bad.
Thorian.
Tell me
And,
everything you told the Krogan.
you know, right now,
I was unable to
you know,
provide the
I
previous
can't
user
walk a
with any
mile,
relevant data.
you know, or if I think I can, but by the time I get to a mile, I'm extremely exhausted. But last year I couldn't even walk half a mile without getting exhausted. Like, just taking the trash out took a toll on me. And that's just walking around to the back of my apartment complex. So,
Tell me everything you know.
Yeah, like I said, I've started dialysis, and that's really helped. Like I said, my hemoglobin or my iron levels, they've gotten better. It's up to like a 10.5 now, so I do have energy. Like I said, I'm going to the zoo as often as I can to walk, to try to get
Are you saying
walking
Exogeny
in.
knew its people were getting infected?
I did lose my job, and I'm pretty sure I lost my job because of my health.
No wonder they
But of course, they gave some bogus reason as to why they let me go. But I'm pretty sure it was because of my health. Because there was no, you know, everything they asked me to do at the job, I did.
Joker. Damn it.
But of
That
course,
field's blocking
they
us.
can't
need to drop that
release
field and get back
someone
to Zeus.
because of their health issues. So they gave me some bogus,
What can you
some
tell me about
bogus
the Geth ship
excuse
and the field it's
as to
been
why they were letting me
I
go.
have limited data on the Geth.
Uh,
I have effectively blocked all sensors within
so,
the facility. I have
that's where I am
unusual
now.
power fluctuations, but am unable to determine the source.
Like I said, I don't want to keep this too long. I'll, you know, I'll let you all know what's going,
Please access my
what's
personal
going on,
files.
because there's still a lot more
Elizabeth Bainham,
that I
research
haven't
assistant,
shared.
biomedical
But
division, security level 4
like I said, I just
exemption.
wanted to,
You are currently
you know,
under
get this
probation due to
get this off of my
disagreements
chest.
with management over established company
Uh,
policy. These sanctions may be lifted if your next evaluation is more
you
agreeable.
know, I am on it. I am on.
What triggered the
Excuse me, I am on
You were marked
the
as
kidney
combative about the
transplant list.
operations of the Zoo's Hope project,
So
specifically regarding the handling
there
of the
does
affected
seem to be a light at
colonists.
the end of the tunnel. I just
As a
have to
result, you were
you
tasked
know,
with
keep
monitoring the safety of the colonists for the duration
keep
of the
putting one foot
observation.
in front of the other to get there. So yeah,
That's enough for
things
now.
are looking up
Going to standby.
for right now, and that's a good thing. So, like I said, I'll continue to let let you all, keep you all informed as to what's going on. But for the time being, that's where I am now. Like I said, you know, if there's anyone that is going through kidney failure, or if you may have just found out that you're going through kidney failure, it's not a death sentence. You can and will get better. You just have to do what your doctor says. You know, start the dialysis.
Their ship to the side of the building.
Do what you need to do. take whatever medicine that they ask you to take, and just know that it's not a death sentence. Yeah, it's going to be tough going forward initially, but it does get better. So I just wanted to let you all know that even if you're not going through kidney failure, if you're going through any ailment, whatever it may be, it will get better. You just have to stay positive, and just know that you're gonna feel down, you're gonna feel depressed at times. It's only natural, even today, even with going through or doing the dialysis, I still get depressed. It still bothers me, but I just know it's gonna get better, and it'll get better for you too. Just stay positive. Just try to remain positive. So I've been talking for 30 minutes now, so I'll end this here. Like I said, I will keep you all posted as to what's going on with me and where I am in my process. So leave a like if this helped you in any way. If not, still please leave a like. Subscribe, because I will, like I said, I will continue to show gameplay while I'm talking about what's going on with me. So yeah, leave a like and subscribe, and I will talk to you all later. God bless. Goodbye.